Rachel brings the heat. Wake up CEO, we're on repeat. Chicago, Sun Up City on the go. Rachel L. Gary on the radio. Tune in quick, hear the power flow. Wake up CEO, it's your daily show. Wake up, start the day with CEO. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. From the Windy City, bringing major vibes. Rachel on the mic, keeping lives revived. Radio Chicago, where dreams arise. Wake up CEO to the skies. No more snooze button, no more delay. Rachel's voice making waves today. Feel the energy Chicago way. Wake up CEO, rise and sway. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Hey, Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill.
This is Nina Powell of Nina Waters Ministries, and when you're looking for inspiration, check out Wake Up CEO with Rachel L. Gary, Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
You know what time it is? Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago, Rachel L. Gary in the building. Wake up, CEO, let's go! Wake up, go some set that tone. Wake up, every step you take, you claim that throne. Wake up, no more doubt, no time to stall. Wake up, boss up now, go get it all. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. I ain't waiting, now I go and take it. Built this from the ground, no way they break it. Consistency, my secret, watch me make it. Got that boss talk, now I ain't faking no. Lost, set the goal, now I'm grabbing the goal. And put in the work, now I'm taking control. The vision so clear, yeah, I already know. Every step I take, I'm ready to blow. Wake up, set that tone. Every step you take, you claim that throne. No more doubt, no time to stall. You boss up now, go get it all. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. No handouts, yeah, I made my way. Built my brand, now I paved my lane. I turn my losses into lessons. Now my grind got no recession. Yeah, they talk about chance, but I make my own. Yeah, I ain't waiting for fate, got a future to own. Yeah, every setback, just part of the game, day game. But now I'm up and they know my name. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. Success so sexy, put the work in flexi. Late nights, no rest, but now my vision's hefty. They doubt it, they laugh, now they watch from the back. Cause I turn every dream into bricks that stack. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, go get it all. Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago. Rachel L. Gary taking you to the top. Boss up, boss you, boss up now.
Hey there, hey there, hey there. Welcome to Wake Up CEO. And it is your host, Rachel L. Gary. And you know what we are? We're on My Radio Chicago, Support District Radio, where we already know it's more than radio. So we're going to jump in and get ready for your 2-hour power-packed wake-up call to step into your full potential. My mission, guys, is simple. Speak candid truth to empower your inner CEO. And that's that one that is clear in your actions, empowered by your choices, and owning your direction. So today's theme is what's good in the hood. So I want you guys to stay locked in for the power statement of the day. Author's Corner is being brought to you by Distinguished Authors Guild, where your literary excellence is rewarded. And that 3-point play, powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets GES. And y'all know what we're going to do here. We're going to dive right in. The power statement of the day is, if it's in your hood, it is your business. So this week, we're talking about rebuilding from the block up. So we're going to turn the hood back into a neighborhood. We're not waiting on anyone to come in and save us. We are the solution. So let's talk ownership of our mindset, our children, our money, and what? Our community. So we're going to dive in to the energy that is needed and the energy that we allow into that community that somehow is disrupting us going from it being the hood to it back to being a neighborhood. And the difference, let's start with the difference between the hood and the neighborhood. So the hood is when you have that opportunity you have that person and you feel good about everything around you. If you're living in whatever area you're in and we're still calling it the hood, that's a mindset. So when we're having this conversation, we're diving into the mindset that is needed for us to see our areas, our childhood stores, our childhood playgrounds, our schools that we graduated from as a place that we can revitalize more so than we can say what happened back when we were younger or what happened back in the day. So the question of the day I'm asking is, what's one thing in the community that needs to change? So if you guys are listening on my radio, on Support District Radio, think to yourself, what is one thing in the community that you think needs to change? And listen, we're going to be honest with ourselves. Remember, this is about getting clear. The first part of the show is always about getting clear, because when you're clear, you can make some valid changes. When you're clear, you can understand what you're going to do next. When you're clear, you can start setting up a plan. There's no plan if we're not clear on what we want or clear on what's going on. So that's what it is all about at the end of the day, guys. We're having this conversation because I say this, I tell everyone, I am from the neighborhood. I tried my best not to use the word I'm from the hood because I'm not. Now, I grew up all across 60, as you guys, if you've been listening to me for a while, I grew up from 67th and South Shore Drive all the way to 67th and Western, all the way down to the west side. My mother's a gypsy. We moved around a lot, but it gave me great experiences. I was able to have conversations with different dynamics, different people in different walks of life. But those days of playing outside have gone away. Neighborhood. I want to talk more about the energy we allow, the businesses we support, the kids we raise. It's all a reflection of who? You. Hey there, Lynette. Thank you for chiming in. So, what I'm asking the question is, if we have a problem with, I'm going to quotate the hood. If we're scared to let our kids play in the hood and we're moving our kids out of public schools because of the hood, I want us to take a moment and decide, what can we do to make a change to the perception of the hood? So, like I said, we're going to dive into the energy that allows the businesses. So I hear a lot. Guys, I'll say this, I'm on a board of a couple of committees in the neighborhood. I recently bought a couple properties in Woodlawn. I own properties on the west side as well. I own a couple of properties far south in the hundreds. So I am on a couple of boards, and I speak to a couple of organizations that are in those neighborhoods. So I keep really abreast of what's happening. So why do you think I'm saying that we're talking about the energy we allow? So I'm going to just talk a little bit to that. I'll use Woodlawn for instance. There's a lot of food deserts in these areas in which I own property in. And when I was a child, I lived, as I said, you heard, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So we're going to talk about later on in the show about what I did differently and why I bought properties in those neighborhoods. But if we're looking for an energy shift, the energy must shift within us, must shift within our thoughts, must shift into our everyday activities. So if the neighborhoods are now the hood, but Rogers Park is still a neighborhood, Logan Square is a neighborhood, Humble Park is a neighborhood. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the dynamics. So if you guys are not from Chicagoland and you happen to be listening, the statements I am making can happen to any area in which you're living in. There are some areas that are depreciated in value, and there's some areas where the city dollars don't go towards. So this is what started the conversation of it being the hood, because the money from the state and the money of the city was not trickling down into these areas. So these areas were getting books that were 4 years behind students in more affluent areas. And then we had lunch programs where those programs were getting grade B, C, and D food. And if you guys don't know what all that is, I don't want to bore you guys with the information, but it goes to stuff that is at Whole Foods, stuff that's at Trader Joe's, and stuff that's at Aldi's. If for people who did not know, Trader Joe's owns Aldi. So you have different grades of food at different places. So if the grades of food are different, that means that you have high quality, which is A. You have B that has a little damage on it. So the A stores don't want those things. And they pay a premium price. So whenever you're paying a lesser price for something, you're getting a lower grade of that. So that's the same thing with any like clothes you buy and anything of that nature. But what we do with this information is different. So I'm going to just speak to a little bit of, let's go to Inglewood. And as I said, I'm starting with, let's get clear. And if we're getting clear, to be clear, you have to have facts. To determine if you want to do something or not, you have to have facts to determine if that is what you're looking for. Thank you, Dr. Stevens, for chiming in. So at the end of the day, let's go Inglewood. So if anybody who's listening is familiar with the south side of Chicago, if you remember about 5 to 8 years ago, all you heard on the news was about Inglewood, Chicago being the worst neighborhood in the city. Now, if you're on there, you also, if you lived in Inglewood, you also, there were when you were, we'll say 20 years ago, that area was full of affluent middle class people who had homes. Most of the area over there were homes. There were apartment buildings, but majority there were houses. So all of a sudden, 5 years went by, and all you heard on the news, Inglewood is the worst area. It's the worst area. There were 5 shootings. There were 10 shootings. There were 30 shootings. I want us to think. So remember, I'm about clarity. I'm about to bring some clear. If Inglewood was such a bad area 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, what took place 2 years ago that made it an area that now we're building high rises in? I want you guys to get clear, because when you have clarity, you can make decisions. When you have clarity, you don't allow the scare tactics, which is what the whole campaign was with the news. Hey, remember, guys, I stopped watching the news because of these things. The scare tactics that were being taught to us and were being represented on the news were all about scaring people out of those areas. Now, this is not a race thing. This is what are we going to do differently? That's why we got to get clear. So the businesses that come into the neighborhood. So we'll start there. So in Inglewood, there was a Whole Foods. So when Whole Foods came into the area, there was already a plan in place. So I want to help you guys have clarity when you're having these conversations. There are city plans out there. City plans are put out years in advance. If you go look at your local government's plans, all the information that I am speaking to you about right now is actually available on city websites. But when you're trying to get clear, you look for that. So remember, I'm not going to talk about things of us having the opportunities to speak about things that we don't want to fix. I think our neighborhoods can be, our hood, quotate that, can be a neighborhood if we put forth some effort. It's going to be work, guys. There's nothing worth having just comes to you. Keep that in mind. If we want to see change, let's say incremental. We don't want dramatic. We want dramatic, but you have to start somewhere to get to where you want to be. So that's why we're starting with that being clear on what you can do. So when we have the programs in our neighborhoods that are not serving our community, what to do next? You have aldermen. So I want to start with just talking a little bit about the portion of your government hierarchy. If you're in the Chicago area, now I'm specifically talking to Chicago about this. I can talk a little bit to other states and other areas, because I do have property in other areas like Tennessee. I have a place in Nashville. I have another place in Mississippi. So there's other areas, but I'm specifically going to talk about Chi right now. So you have your first line of defense when something's going on in your neighborhood is your alderman's office. So if you are not aware who the alderman is in your area, get educated on that first. If your street is not being cleaned on street sanitation day, if you are seeing riffraff or you are starting to see more gun violence in your area, that's your first line of defense. Now, why is it important? They want your vote. They want your vote. They don't want you complaining. If you put a petition together, as I said, guys, this is work. So to transform the hood to a neighborhood, it's not easy. This is not a conversation about easy. And nothing I ever talk about on Wake Up CEO is about easy. But it's necessary if you want change. I hear the complaining. But what are you willing to put up for the change? I watch many of my fellow hosts talk about things that are going on in different neighborhoods. Like I was watching Ken Folks on Sundays, and he's talking about a water problem in University Park. So I did some research on University Park to find out a little more information. So there was not just University Park. There was 4 other suburbs out there like Manhattan and Soak Village. There was a lot of areas out there that were affected by the water situation. However, University Park is the only area still fighting to get clean, to get their area cleaned up, to get their school, to get more, to get better services. Let's see what do you guys think the difference is? Let's drop that in the chat. And if you guys are at home listening or on the road listening, what reason do we think that those areas, and I want us not to blame anybody else. So think inside yourself. Why do you believe those areas got support quickly? I'm taking a second. And usually when I pause, just because I want you guys to take in and start thinking. And then I'll give you a piece of information, facts. I'm not, as I said, I'm not coming with conjecture. I don't speak in theory. I speak in hardcore facts, and I speak in what I've done, what I've been through, and what I've gone past. So I stopped thinking long time ago that anything outside of me controlled me. I implore you to do the same. If there's issues in your neighborhood, like we're going to get back to the University Park situation. If there's issues in your neighborhood, and Carolyn's Dr. Stevens chimed in and said, money and the support with their dollars. Very much so. Also, the community didn't rally together. That's harsh. I know it is. But we want change. Now, if you're talking to your friend at the beauty salon, and you're talking to your guy in the barbershop, and y'all discussing it in the car, if all you guys get together and go to the aldermen or go to the head of those areas and have a conversation collectively, that's a little different. Because now everybody in there, if the district is having an issue and the district gets together, then that issue comes up for resolutions. Now, is it something, so all the time, does it work? Sometimes no. But what do we do next? Let's see. There's a problem. We're spending money in the community. And the problem that we're facing is not being addressed in the community in which we're spending money in. Very similar to the boycott on Walmart and the boycotts on Target, boycotts on Amazon. There was a whole long list. But boycotting them and not finding other resources isn't the same. I'm gonna speak to it. Hey guys. Remember, this is my Wake Up CEO hosted by Rachel L. Gary. So Rachel L. Gary, I'm speaking just things that I've actually been through. And I lived, as I said, I lived all over the south side of Chicago. When I lived most of my time in East and West Woodline. And the division of East and West Woodline, as everyone knows, is Cottage Grove. And the reason why they put that division of East and West Woodlawn, because you had the side that was owned by the University of Chicago, which made it East Woodlawn, and the side that on the other side was not, and they made that West Woodlawn. Division, division, division. Now, East and West Woodlawn have 2 aldermen in it. So depending on what side of the street you're on, you have a different alderman. Same thing in Inglewood. In Inglewood, you have 3 aldermen. Now, if you have a hard time getting along with your sister that you love so dearly, or your brother that you hold so dearly, how do you think these 3 aldermen and their constituents are getting together and formulating a plan in an area? Let's wonder, why was it divided? And the alderman for part of Inglewood is also the alderman for part of Woodlawn. That's a far stretch. If you're from Chicago, you know what Inglewood is, you know what Woodlawn is, you know those areas. So when we're thinking about change and we're thinking about where to put our energy, where to figure out what to do, a lot of that I talked about, I know was confusing. What I'll say is it was meant to be. It was meant to confuse. So it was meant to talk about, it was meant to make it where it was confusing for you to determine where to go, who to see, how to fix it. And usually when something is hard, what do? Put our hands up. Man, I don't have time for this. How many times have you heard you said it? So the businesses in our community, how do we support? So I'll use, for instance, like we're talking about when I was in Bronzeville. So in Bronzeville, you have new buildings, you have new structure going up. And I remember when in Bronzeville, there was issues because that was closer to the low end. Y'all remember when it was called low end down there? Then all of a sudden they started getting these fancier neighborhood names. Then all of a sudden, once they started tearing down projects that used to be over there, when they started tearing down those projects, now it started becoming a different type of area. They're slowly but surely bringing it together. But if the people in the community don't come together and we move out of the community, which sometimes you have to, like I'll use myself, for instance, I moved out of the community because my job was closer to the northern suburbs. Now, I didn't move out of the community because of the community. I just moved to have a better commute to work. But the second I was able to start buying properties in the community, I'm going to tell you what I did, guys. I bought properties in the community. I wanted to know about those areas. I didn't forget where I came from. That's about those businesses. So when you start getting your business, because real estate is a business for me. The name of my company is Respirational Development. So that is what I do, business-wise. Well, one of my businesses. So if my business is when I set the business plan up, it was to revitalize communities and bring back prosperity to the community. So I wanted to make sure that I bought in those areas. So that means I was willing to put my money where my heart was. I was willing to put my time into figuring out what the neighborhood needed. Now, I'm not speaking of myself in the terms of as in I'm special. There are many people who do it. But I want to talk to those people who still think that the areas are the hood and how to change it to speak on how do we fix the hood and make it a neighborhood. And there's so many organizations out there. But if we all tie together and find some support amongst ourselves, and when you say hood, And when you and you, if you still live in those areas, and when you say hood, and you're like, I don't want my son to go to this school, or I don't want my daughter hanging out over there. Let's get to why. And I know that we busy. I know. Life has got us busy. We busy working. We busy trying to raise families. We busy trying to keep our heads above water. But the only way to make change in these hood areas is to be present in those hood areas. Be present at what you're doing. Be intentional. That's about clarity. So when you start your business, like I've seen so many new businesses in our area, which you will be seeing them on the show for the next couple of weeks and next couple of months, where people from the neighborhoods in which are starting new businesses. Because at the end of the day, we must work together to grow. So when you spend dollars with another organization, you're looking for a return on investment. So my return on investment is me providing a platform for other individuals to speak to their businesses on, to be able to bring some prosperity back to the neighborhood. So we have to, Dr. Stevens said, rebuild the hood. Absolutely. And in the second hour, we're going to dive into a little bit about rebuilding the hood and initiatives in the neighborhoods that are here to help us find success for our kids. Hey there, CEO. Thank you for joining. We got Mrs. Gary on the line. Thanks. So if we're looking to find something better in the neighborhoods, let's start with us. Let us be better. So I was having a conversation. Hey, guys, I tell you, things happen. Something sparked me to utilize this topic today. I was having a conversation with my neighbor to one of the buildings. And the gentleman, what he was talking about, he says, you know what? I saw a new guy on the block. He said, I'll keep you abreast if that new guy on the block is good news or bad news. What? So the reason why I'm clapping him up is because that's the lookout. Y'all remember back in the day, there was a lookout for bad things, a lookout for good things, but he was a lookout. When I pulled up, the first thing he said is that we got a new people on the block, and I'll let you know if they're doing good things or bad things. So he coordinated with another neighbor that lives like at the end of the block. My property's in the middle of the block. So he's coordinating with another gentleman on the end of the block, who's coordinating with another guy who's 3 blocks away. So it goes back to those days of neighborhood watch. They are neighborhood watch. Guys, I got a question. Hey, who has a Ring camera? Somebody drop that out here. Do y'all got a Ring camera? So I got Ring cameras on the building because I'm trying to make sure, I want to make sure at the end of the day that my tenants are safe. And things that take place, I want to make sure that we're able to have those discussions and make sure that we get law enforcement involved. We get our aldermen involved. So on those Ring cameras, if you check them out, they have all kinds of alerts in there. Me and my son, we used to laugh at these alerts because this is before I had any idea that these alerts were actually in the neighborhood. If someone was missing a package off their porch, so if somebody was missing a package off their porch, they were putting it in there. I caught the guy. I caught the person. Watch out. That's that new neighborhood watch. There were gunshots on 75th. So 4 or 5 people on 75th were like, gunshots at X, Y, and Z. Make sure that you guys don't go that way. And people put this alert on their phone so they can see the information. So these people are looking out for each other in the hood. I quotated that, guys, for the people who not seeing me live. So we have a small infrastructure that is looking out for each other. So what we can do is make that infrastructure bigger and really start putting some time in and making and seeing what we can make changes on. So that's just a small piece. So I want to talk about something, guys. Ladies and gents, parents of all ages and sizes, please do not get upset with my next statement. I have children of my own, and I'm prefacing all of that to say, when we got these bad, I'm gonna put the word beep on it. When we have kids who are unruly, they have a parent. And if you're that parent, what resources are needed to get your kid back on line? And I'm going to tell you a story I heard, and this is from one of my fellow hosts, where the parent was called in to come take care of the fact that their child was unruly. And what happened next is the parent was ready to fight the teacher. I had to take a breath. That's the example that our children see. Now, I'm not saying that when things are disrespectful, that you have to turn the other cheek. But carrying ourselves like adults, or carrying ourselves like we are a representative of our family, because as the children's parents, we are a representative of the family. We represent what our children will see, do, and talk about. If we are fighting the teachers in school, your kids are going to think it's okay to fight. Conflict resolution. Who's heard of it? Who's heard of it? Please let me know. Who's heard of that? Because conflict resolution is, we weren't all taught it. Hey, I'm going to be as transparent as possible. I learned conflict resolution differently than from a parent. But conflict resolution is necessary to be able to determine, to give your kids a base, give yourself a base. Because remember, the first person your child mimics is you. School systems are not built to teach your children discipline. That's not what they're for. I got teachers in the family. My aunt's a teacher. And I'm going to tell you about me being a bad kid. I spent from my first grade year to my fourth grade year in the library every day. I wouldn't sit in the chair. I wouldn't do what they told me to do. I was going through a lot as a child. I'm telling you that as an adult. There was a lot of trauma that had happened in my life in those time periods. And I wasn't being heard. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because as my parent at the time was not in tune with what was going on with me. And by them not being in tune, they could not explain why I was upset all the time. Now, will I say I was right? Will I tell you I was right for those things as an adult who has learned conflict resolution, who has gotten the mental and emotional assistance that was needed to grow and develop myself? I'll tell you that I was wrong. But as a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid, I couldn't discern why I was so upset. I just knew I was angry and that no one was listening. And the teachers, because I I was a real good kid in the library. Goes to why I read 20,000 books, guys. I was a real good kid in the library. I did as I was told in the library because I liked the books and wasn't nobody there but me in the books. I didn't have to sit in the seat. I could walk around the library. But as parents, it's our responsibility to get the help that's needed so we can be better people, so we can be the best example for the next generation of children. And I know I've heard the stories that I had a baby at 14, 15. I had my first child, I was 20. But I have a younger sibling who had a baby a little younger in life. And a lot of times you hear the stories about we're growing up that they're growing up with their kids. I get it. But at some point in time, we become old enough to understand that what we are doing is wrong, or what we are doing needs to change. And we have the ability to get some assistance to make the change. That goes to what we were talking about last week about emotional intelligence. And I'm not saying that it's easy. One more time, this is work. It's work. We're going to be putting in work all through it. Because if we want change in the hood, we have to start changing our mindset of what we think, how we move, what we're teaching the next generation. Because in 10 years, I'll be almost 60. The neighbor who's giving me information, he'll be 80. Or I think he'll be 90. My apologies. So he won't have that same vigor to do the things he's doing in the neighborhood, that neighborhood watch that's going on between him and two neighbors, 2 blocks and 3 blocks away. So if he doesn't have that conversation with the generation behind him and teaches them what he's doing and how to do it, the next generation won't be able to do those things in the neighborhood. Because there was a time, hey, I'm going to get to it. There was a time when you got in trouble, you got a whooping all the way down your block almost. Because everybody knew everybody. I mean, I know that's a back in the day situation. That's when grandma was at home taking care of kids. Mom was at work. Grandma was the end all be all. She was the matriarch of the family. And as we got older, the grandma age got younger. I get it. But there's got to be some point in time where we take that moment of reflection and say, okay, they don't exist. This age bracket does not exist. But do you know how many people talk about that age bracket? So that means that we know, one more time, that we know that the things that they were instilling, the conversations that they were instilling, the sit down and let me talk to you for a minute, baby, and let's see what's going on with you. Or let's discuss about how this is not the way. We know those conversations because if you're older than 25, you heard them. You've heard of them. Which means that you have an opportunity to make a change. You have an opportunity to elevate the neighborhood. You have an opportunity to start at home with our kids, teaching them that the neighborhood and that what they see, the gunshots on 75th, is not life. It's a part of a life. How do we keep them from being part of that life? Giving them some real information. Learn that we are the first teachers. We are the ones who give them the most information to help them to find the most success. Don't give your job over to someone else. And then think back why your kids are not acting the way you want them to. Have you taught them? I had a saying for my kids. And if any of my kids ever want to chime in, please drop it in here. The ghetto stops where? If I called any of my children at any time, the ghetto stops at my door. No matter what you think about what's going on outside these doors, when you come in here, the conversation changes. The books you read changes. I didn't leave it up to the school system to teach my kids anything. I read, I found books that were around subjects that I wanted to make sure my children were abreast of. I want them to know about Black history. I wanted them to know about Black cultures. I went and got books from 1800, books from 1870, who were people that were actually on those plantations that could read and write. There are many books out there. And those are what I had them read. I wanted them to understand I won't say struggle, because I don't see it as a struggle. I see it as a lesson. I see the opportunity from it. What can we do differently? How can we move differently? What can we learn differently? How do we take the hood and put that neighbor back with it? How do we start with our neighborhood stores? We want to make changes in the food deserts in our community. This is about the business standpoint. Buy a store. Open a store. Buy from that store if you're living in that neighborhood. You are supporting each other at that time. Now, let's say you have to pay $2 more at that store. That's because that's a smaller franchise. The reason why Walmart stuff is lower price because they buy in bulk. Same thing with Sam's Club, same thing with Costco. They buy in bulk. They can afford to buy in bulk. But let's say 5 good businessmen, business people get together, put together a structure and do the same. Buy from different places. The places that they buy from are not the only places there are. There are Black people who make toilet paper, toothpaste, all kinds of stuff. If we want to make a change, let's start with corner store, real corner store, middle block store, whichever we want to call it. There's a grocery store on the west side that is Black owned. Support it. Will their prices be a little higher? Yes. There's a Jewel's in a community on the west side, on the south side, but there's not another store in sight. I see Jewel's be packed. But if there was a store down the street, will we support it? We want change. We can be the change we want to see in the world. It's my motto. I live by it. That's how we change the neighborhood back. Give jobs. Now, currently, I have the apartment buildings. Later on today on the show, my guest happens to be the property manager of 2 of the buildings. As you build a business, you hire people into your business. Everybody can't be the boss, guys. We can't all be the boss. But you can learn from somebody who's already got that information, and then you can start your own business, and then you're the boss of it. But you learn from someone who's already successful at it. That's what we do. But real change, it doesn't start, I want to start once again, it doesn't start in City Hall or the alderman's office. It starts with you. Are you ready to take up a petition and not shop at that store? Not boycott it, but you say, I'm not shopping there. That's not a boycott. That's a decision. You make a decision. I'm no longer shopping there. I'm going to start a food market like the one on Racine in Inglewood. Now, guys, I got to be transparent. I don't live in the city anymore. I own property in the city. I come to the city. I'm in the city every day. But I know about all of these places. The hardware store, John's Hardware on 75th and Halsted. It's been there since I was a kid. I got to be honest, I had a real moment when I walked in there. And the reason for the real moment when I walked in there was because it had been there since I was 7. It had been there before that, but my daddy took me in there when I was 7. So tell a little bit about myself. My father passed away when I was 11. So it was one of the fine moments when I went in there, and it was a group of guys that used to sit on the back wall, and they would be talking about what's going on in the neighborhood. One more time, they were talking about what was going on in the neighborhood. That's how they knew about Johnny, who was down the street selling X, Y, and Z. How they knew that Brenda's kid was jumping out of a window because they was on that couch talking, having those conversations. Then they would get together. We gotta go talk to their daddy. We gotta go talk to their mama and let them know what we saw. And their parents were receptive. They were open to hearing it. I was having a conversation with my friend earlier, and she was talking at work about talking to a parent about her son being a lookout for somebody, and she was defending him tooth and nail, as opposed to saying, "Okay, I understand. That's what he was doing. I appreciate you giving me that information." See, that's a different concept. I didn't say he was doing good or bad. He might have been right. He might not have been doing what the person said. But when you having those conversations and you're open, conflict resolution opens you. It opens you for what's people are talking about, what's being said out there. Whew. I mean, we've been talking deep about this in the hood. So we're gonna take an opportunity to take a break, listen to some music. Take an opportunity to soak in what you can do for your neighborhood to bring it back to a neighborhood of prosperity, to bring it back to a neighborhood where you're proud to be in the neighborhood. So take an opportunity to think about it, and we'll be right back with you. So we got Stand Up by Free Soul featuring Courtney Bell.
You can't stop me. Manifest your dreams.
Every day is a blessing. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. I don't lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing.
Yeah, I'm consistently in my prime. I'm thriving and feeling fine. Embodiment of divine. Self-concept rich. Winning energy, and I want that. Just taking on my journey, and I'm loving it. Cause I'm up right now, and I'm still up next. Discerning and wise, I know how to move. Abundant options, I know which to choose. Daily progression, I always improve. I live life as a winner, so I never lose. That's positive, life is what I receive. I do my best, and let things unfold gloriously. Romanticizing every day, and I'm loving on me. I'm grateful, I'm winning, and my life's having leeway.
Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. I don't lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing. Win that'll never lose. 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 I don't lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing.
Receive affirmation, God. Push the P off the right way. Elevate subconscious mind. All despite what they might say. I win, I don't never lose. Habitual positive thinking. I've learned to always choose the positive side of my thinking.
First I heal myself, I started off the right way. Now I'm healing others despite what they might say. A world changer, that's a guarantee. Create what I speak. Now I am what I need.
Win that'll never lose. 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 I don't lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. Win that'll never lose. I don't lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing.
One more thing. On the way.
Lose and I'm lasting. Every day is a blessing.
We about to kick down the door. Pin them new seeds, watch them grow. We about to run up the millions, need financial freedom for all of my folks. Yeah, we building leverage to change the complexion of wealth. You can tell by my tone. Empower my people to go elevate and be great. That's the shit that I'm on. Stand up, 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 keep much stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. You can't be walking around, bro. You better go get the bag. You better not give up hope. You can't be going outside. You got the power of God deep inside you, man. You better get off your ass. Your passion, the vehicle that's gonna drive you. Now go put your foot on the gas. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up, 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 keep much stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Peace to the gods in the earth. May every verse that I write bring insight to the minds that's lost. Just what we do it for. Body. Feet to the floor, fists lifted, I'm feeling like a panther. Power to the people from Tallahassee to Madagascar. Spooked by the door, I infiltrated this black magic. Took accountability, healing from all my bad habits. Universe, bent to my will, empowered by my blackness. Do you know who you effing with? I feel like Mike Blackston. Die for the people, ain't nothing new. I used to crashing. Judge slam gavel, he battled me with a racist passion. Stand up, chin up with your hands up. Chest out, know that this your land, bruh. Embrace your beauty, they can't stand us. Don't want your reparations, they play it far like an N1. My ancestor died for the cause. I align with the gods, I'm assigned to this war. Right into my lines, turn to art. Speak for the ones with no voice that's in the crowd. Love.
Stand up, 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 keep much stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
You know, like, sometimes you just gotta stop caring about, like, what everybody else think and just live your life, you know? Look, if you ain't failed a couple times, you ain't ready for this. I don't crumble under pressure, I go heavy with this. Driving straight to the hole, I don't need no assist. If all I got is one shot, you know I ain't gonna miss. I never take a hater serious, I'm petty with this. Never been the type to fall, don't shadow the fence. And yeah, I might lose it all, I get it right back quick. I'm like a walking casino, cause I'ma take that risk. I ain't scared of nothing but the old version of me. I'm fired up, boy, I love the cold version of me. I love the way I took the pain and now it's working for me. I'm coming back for everything that was taken from me. Hey, what you thought this was? I'm like the little engine that could. They love my drive, they just wanna know what's under the hood. I wish you would try to stop me, you gon' get what you deserve. I'll show you how to take it from the bottom to the first. Yeah. I know they try to say you can't, but do it anyway. Ain't got no money in the bank, do it anyway. I know you thought a couple times, but that's alright. Care what people think, do it anyway. I know they try to say you can't, do it anyway. Ain't got no money in the bank, do it anyway. I know you thought a couple times, but that's alright. Won't care what people think, do it anyway. Remember when they said I couldn't, now they ask me how I do it. When you really know you got it, you ain't never gotta prove it. When you started from the bottom, you ain't never scared of losing. Everything all on God, that's the only way I do it. Boy, I been had the juice, boy, the extra side of sauce. Boy, I been had ragu. Baby, I got so much flavor in the pain, it's a seasoning. Promise I'ma get it, it don't matter the season. I do it any day, every day. I'ma get it in every way. No, they try to say that I can't, but I still do it anyway. I don't care what they're gonna say, I don't care what they're gonna think. When you out here chasing dreams, you don't care if people sleep. Wake 'em up when I speak, it's just a matter of time. And everything for me is just a matter of mind. I got audacity and confidence, a deadly combination. Yeah, I hear them talking, I just call it admiration. I know they try to say you can't, but do it anyway. Ain't got no money in the bank, do it anyway. I know you saw it a couple times, so that's alright. I don't care what people think, do it anyway. I know they try to say you can't, do it anyway. Ain't got no money in the bank, do it anyway. I know you saw it a couple times, so that's alright. I don't care what people think, do it anyway. Yeah. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. No, they bitch, I said you can't do it anyway. Ain't got no money in the bank, do it anyway. I know you felt a couple times and that's alright. But don't care about what they say, do it anyway.
Hey there. Welcome back to Wake Up CEO. I'm your host, Rachel L. Gary, and this is Support District Radio. It is more than radio, and this is my radio Chicago. And we're about to jump into the Author's Corner, and it is sponsored by Distinguished Authors Guild, where your literary excellence is rewarded. And this week's feature is Madam C.J. Walker by Lisa M. Bolt. Guys, this is a book that I've read like 7 times. I really resonated with Madam C.J. Walker, her story and her resilience. So these were my key takeaways from the book. So Madam C.J. Walker built an empire with a vision bigger than her circumstances. I want to speak to that. Bigger than where she was. She saw beyond survival. She envisioned a legacy. So if you guys haven't read the book or have not watched the movie, because now there's a movie about Madam C.J. Walker, and she was the first Black woman millionaire. She started her craft from scratch. Now, it wasn't just starting her craft. It was the economic empowerment that she had. She created jobs. She trained women and instilled confidence. Her success wasn't solo. It was a community of power. One more time. It wasn't solo, which is what we've been talking about. Nothing happens by yourself. A collective makes motions. It makes things happen. So Madam C.J. Walker, she didn't wait for permission. I want to say that again, guys. He did not wait for permission. So if you're looking for something outside of you to tell you it's okay to make a change, make a difference, and make things happen, that's the first thing we need to deal with. No permission to find and build and be successful. Just get to it. Your grind can be a gift. I grind. I used to be on a constant grind, 3-job grind. 3 jobs, a business, 2 kids, a life that I was living well. And I'm not going to say financially well. I mean, living well when I was out there being reckless. Remember, I told you guys, I'm not a saint. And I am a person who has had a past. And from that past, I've learned, grew, and developed into the person that that's just talking to you today. And next week, when I talk to you, I've been developed into a better version of myself. Every day, I'm constantly moving towards a better and newer version of me. And what I want to like dive a little bit more to the story of Madam C.J. Walker, because she wasn't the only one. She's just one of many people who of that era who had found wealth in themselves, who found strength in themselves, who found resilience in themselves, and were making waves in a way that, if you guys don't know who Rockefeller is, John D. Rockefeller. Now, I'll give you guys a little bit of a story about him so I can speak to a little bit about Madam C.J. Walker. So John D. Rockefeller is the oil tycoon. So all of those BPs that you guys see, all of the oil that we have, he was the prominent person. His family was a prominent family who started that business. Now, John D. Rockefeller, when he first started his business, he didn't have but a nickel. Now, I'm only saying this to say that even if you are leaving and building a legacy for your children, somebody has to struggle. Say that again. Because I hear people say all the time that I work real hard for this. My kids can work real hard too. I'm not discounting that. But I want my kids, as I know that you want your kids, to start out better in life than you did. And if I want to better in life than they did, I don't mind being the person who struggled. I don't mind being the person who started the building blocks. Because John D. Rockefeller, his family right now, let's say this, We're talking about 180 years ago. If I remember correct, my dates might be off some, so please do not hold me to the dates. His family has not touched the original money in 10 generations. Now let's take this back one more time. I'm not talking about all of the things of supreme of white people, the fact that they had more opportunities. I'm not talking about that, guys, because Madam C.J. Walker didn't have any of that. I'm going to say this right now. I didn't have any of that. I'm still, let me see. I'm still black. I'm still in America and I'm still a female. But I tell you right now, I don't let any of those things limit my thoughts. And a lot of that comes from the fact of these books I was reading, these stories I read of people of limited circumstances making monumental change in the world. So if they could do it, I'm gonna tell you who else can do it. I can do it. So from the chat, there are theories that their families till this date have extent control major events globally. So I mean, there's always the statements of the 10 top families. Guys, I'll tell you, I don't get bogged down with mainstream or the information of who's running the world. I'm gonna tell you who's running my world. Me. That's the only person I'm concerned about right now. Me running my world. Me running my world as much as I can. Because if I start worrying about all of the people behind me who are pushing me down, are holding me back, if I buy into that, I won't explore, extend, and move forward. And that's what I got from the Madam C.J. Walker story. So I read this story when I was like 8, the first time. So with the limited understanding of an 8-year-old, I was like, you can be a millionaire? What is a millionaire? That was my first question. I said, what is a millionaire? Because I didn't have a concept of what that meant. So then I started asking questions. So I started asking family members about what's a millionaire. I was asking my uncle Charles, that I'm gonna rest in peace to my Uncle Charles. But I would ask this dude so many questions because he was the one who I could ask a question from and he would answer. You know how you have that one person who gonna answer those crazy questions you got? He was that guy for me. I asked him a question. I'm like, oh, Charles was a millionaire. That was when I first read the story. What's a millionaire? So he started explaining to me about this. And then I said, okay. So she was selling hair products and she became a millionaire? I said, stuff for your hair? So this is, I remember that moment because I was thinking about how small those little tubes of Madam C.J. Walker's products were. And I was counting in my mind at 8, trying to figure out how many tubes she had to sell. And then that went to my thought process of the power of the many as opposed to the power of the few. So it wasn't the fact that she had become a millionaire alone. She became a millionaire. And most of these women who worked for her were 6-figure earners in 100 years ago. Whew. So why I was talking about John D. Rockefeller was because of the fact that she bought a house right next door to John D. Rockefeller. So, see right there. So she bought a house right next to John D. Rockefeller. And what was so amazing about that to me is that I had read stories about John D. Rockefeller after her and about how much money he had. And that means, do you know how much success that meant for her to buy a house right next door? And within 2 generations, the money was spent. So I was trying to figure out. Now, I want you guys to understand, because this is going to go into my special guest that has just arrived, that I was trying to figure out what was the difference between John D. Rockefeller's money and Madam C.J. Walker's money, which took me on a quest of thinking about all of the top families in the 1800s that were wealthy. And the Vanderbilts, you guys might have heard me say it before. The Vanderbilts had more money than the Rockefellers, but within like 4 or 5 generations, they did not have as much money. But it was the plan. One more time. The plan that John D. Rockefeller had, as opposed to the secession plan. Secession. I'm not speaking this for me thinking that anyone is slow. I just want to make sure I explain for people who might not know. A secession is people after you. It's your kids, your grandkids, your great-grandkids, your great-great-great-grandkids, and so on and so forth. John D. Rockefeller was thinking about his great-great-great-great-great-grandkids when he set up his plan. Madam C.J. Walker was thinking about making sure she had progress, and she didn't have the knowledge of how to make that money expand. So that's what I'm speaking about making money expand and having that forethought about how to bring the neighborhood back from this thing that we call the hood. Because to me, hood is a mentality, is a thought process. It's not an actual place. If we teach our kids how to be someone of, what's the word I want to use for it? To be a person of integrity, to be a person who is helpful. I heard a story today about people think those are the people that are lame. Those are lame people. I'm going to tell you, I'm lame all the time because I'm not talking about, I only talk about prosperity growth. I don't even associate with somebody who doesn't have prosperity and growth. So I'm going to take an opportunity we're going to take that all in about prosperity and growth as we're going to bring my special guest on. But before we get there, we're going to play Growth by Lizzie Birchie. I want you guys to take that in and get prepared for the next segment when I bring my special guest. So be ready. And remember, this is My Radio Chicago, and you can find us on 365. Download that app. Take us with you. And you can get, and you want to put in there My Radio Chicago, type that in and download that app. So we can be on the go. We don't only have to be where you're watching me. You can be where you're listening to me and the other hosts that have phenomenal shows on My Radio Chicago. So know that this is more than radio. So we're going to put on Growth.
Let me grow. Let me grow. I'm on my way. Let me grow. Let me grow. Let me grow. Let me grow. I'm on my way. Let me grow. Let me grow. That's my future. Every word, every conversation. That's my soul, you see. Every sign of love. Everything starts on the inside before it comes on the outside. It's growth. Everything starts on the inside before it comes on the outside. It's growth. Yeah. Let me go. 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 That's my air you're breathing. Can you feel it deep inside? That's my heart you're holding, and it's beating to your side. Everything starts on the inside before it comes on the outside. It's growth. Everything starts on the inside before it comes on the outside. Can I go with you? We can go together. Can I go with you? We can go together. Whatever you want to. How to let me know. How to let me go. Can I go with you? We can go together. If you don't want to, let me go. 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 I'm on my way.
All right. Welcome back. We are jumping back in with my special guest over here. So let me introduce him properly. This is the CEO of Fisher Construction. He's a property manager, investor liaison, and now a philanthropist with and founder of Unite and Build. Wake Up CEO is proud to welcome Tyrese Fisher. So we're going to make sure his mic is good to go.
Yes.
All right.
Nice to be here.
So this happens to be a contractor who does work with my building. He's also my property manager for my two buildings over here on in the Woodline area. So we're going to talk a little bit about what started you in construction. So I want you guys to hear about, at the end of the day, about us constructing in the neighborhood. And this is what it's about, going from hood to the neighborhood. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh, man. Where do we start at? Construction, just kind of fell into my lap because I was kind of like a guy that likes to go and get his own.
Okay.
So I was actually working for a cabinet company. And we moving cabinets. I'm making about $10 an hour at the time. And then I'm doing my thing. I'm picking up the cabinets, reading the prints, putting them everything where they're supposed to go. And the carpenter guy say, "Hey, you ever did carpentry before?" I told him no. He said, "If I started you out with $18 an hour, could you be here Monday?" Mind you now, Rachel, I'm making $10 an hour.
I know that's right.
So that was a no-brainer. I said, "What you gonna pay me Monday?"
I know that's right.
So at the time, I didn't even have a bill. So this job is in Peoria, Illinois.
Ooh.
So I got to get up, take the CTA bus to the end of the line, put my bike on the front of the bus, ride it 5 more miles, take it off that, get back on the bus again, ride it 3 more miles to the job site. Listen, Rachel, you got to be determined somewhere.
Absolutely.
Mind you now, I'm the only brother there. All white boys and Mexicans. So as they pulling in their trucks and their SUVs, I'm turning the corner on my 10-speed.
All right.
My tool belt over my shoulder.
So can I ask a question? Yeah. Now, considering what you just said, that would defeat most people.
Yes, it would.
What kind of so tell me what your mindset was when that gentleman said from the $10 hours you were making to $18 an hour. Did you think it was worth it, or did you think, or what was your thought process that made you say, okay, at this point, Peoria, Illinois ain't that far?
Ain't that far. And actually, I just had to make something out of nothing some way. Because growing up, I grew up on the south side of Chicago. So we always made something out of nothing. If it was with shortage of the food or shortage of whatever, we made something out of nothing. And so it was like, you ain't got no other choice. What other choice you got? You got kids. You got a wife. Ooh, I shout out to my wife. She's been with me 20 years when I started this.
Very, very sweet lady.
So, you got to be able to get up and just be able to will to do something more with yourself. When you wake up in the morning, it might seem slow at first, but if you were determined, because my ultimate goal was to learn everything. I was eager to learn. I like learning new things.
Okay.
So when he says $20 an hour, okay, I show up, I do my thing.
Okay.
I didn't miss a day.
So how long after you started this job did you actually get a vehicle to go out there? Because we talk about 8 miles, and guys, if you are not from the Chicago area, I want to say this for the record: it get cold, and we have a lot of snow, and we have this weather that goes 3 different ways. We got this week we've had 4 weather patterns. So
I was actually riding at 10 speed through the wintertime. I had the little safety goggles on, wind blowing, I'm gone. It got to the point where the owner of the company, he seen how determined I was to know and get there and make sure I do what I need to do. He said, Tyrese, I'll tell you what, Kegley stays in Lexington, Illinois. We're going to buy a new truck just so he can come pick you up and drop you off every day. You don't have to worry about getting work.
I'm gonna tell you, if he doesn't mind me saying this part, what I heard from that is when you're determined to do something else and be somebody, do something, that help comes your way.
It comes your way. That's what I say, Rachel. My main thing is you got to be willing to help yourself. If you're not willing to help yourself, you're in a world of trouble, because certain people will extend so far. It's only so far they're gonna stick out and reach.
Exactly.
But if they see somebody willing to, they might say they ain't to reach out a little further.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, you
Absolutely.
know what? Come on, I got you.
That's right.
Started that, and next thing you know, they've opened up a whole branch for a new company. Made me the foreman. I'm still the only black guy there.
So this goes to what we were talking about before Tyrese entered in. We were talking about the fact of in the neighborhoods that we live in, that if you take part in what's going on in those neighborhoods, you can make a difference.
Yep.
And this goes to where I said I will now talk a little bit about why I bought in the neighborhoods in which I did. I wanted to give back to the communities in which raised me. And I wanted to give rays of hope where I've heard or seen hopelessness. When me and Ty was a subcontractor who owns his own company. So he was helping another contractor out, because the other contractors who I had my bid with for my property, I saw Tyrese, and Tyrese, he's right here to tell the story. I came to him and asked him some questions. And that's how I found out that he was an investor liaison. He was a property manager, that he wore many hats, because I saw his work ethic. So he didn't solicit business from me. Me seeing his work ethic made me, hey, Ty, do you mind? I said, hey, Ty, can I talk to you for a minute? Is that how it went? It's funny. On a cold day outside, we were outside in the winter talking about business, about growing in business, and his investment, how he worked with investors. If you could chime in a little bit about how Fisher and Fisher Construction works with investors to grow.
We do a lot of hands-on things with investors. We try to make their life easy as possible, because when you're an investor, you got many things to do, and certain things you ain't got time for. So when you got a company and you got clients that's willing to sacrifice and willing to go that extra mile to get things done, it makes it a lot easier. So you want to make their life a lot easier. So now we get some investors, we go, we look at the properties, we let them know how much the property going to cost, how much the rehab is going to cost, if it's a good deal or not. Like if it's not a good deal, because if investors don't make money, guess what? They don't want to do it again. They don't want to do it again.
Exactly.
So you want to make sure that the turnover is good for the investor. And then the rental part, that's like, make sure everything goes fair and square, because you want to get renters in there that make sure that people is going to pay their rent. You're going to come through, check on the property every 60 days to make sure they're not damaging the place.
Absolutely.
Anything that goes wrong with the place, they just give us a call. We show up 24-hour on call for emergencies. So it's a lot of ways that we help the investor to improve the things that they're trying to accomplish. So we could lighten that load for the investors, then I think it'll be a handy marriage, when you start.
And I'll say already, I have already taken advantage of some of those 24-hour calls. And as I said, he's a property manager of my property. And we the first week my tenant moved in, she had a problem with her door. She had and she was scared. So I text Tyrese the information, and he said, "No problem, I'll take care of it." And before that morning, I got a nice little text where he was he had put the door back together, everything was fine, and I didn't even get a text back from her saying it was that she had any more problems. I texted her and said, "Is everything okay?" She said, "Oh yeah, he was done. He's here and been gone."
Yeah, that's what you looking for. You know?
Absolutely.
Because like I explained to a lot of guys, like when I got my start, people went to me. So I do the same. I run into a lot of guys, they say, "Hey, you got any work?" I say, "Sure, take my number then." Because everybody gets shot. You just gotta want to take advantage of your shot. You know, so when you get on, you gotta get on and start running. You can't be messing around. You gotta understand this is what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about the philanthropy piece, because I was extremely excited. Well, he knows I'm all about helping the community, helping people in the community. The properties I had, I was looking to rent them out and for a small amount of rent for rooms to help people find success. And us having that conversation, he trusted me with some information before he was still in embryo stage. He was just talking about what he was going to do. So tell me more about this Build and Unite. What made you start it, and what is it anyway?
You know, this is something that's been on my gut for many years now. So it was like we started to get moving. So we like, let's get this thing rolling and let's get started. Because like I said, Rachel, that's how I got my shot. So
giving back.
I'm always open arms to helping someone.
Absolutely.
So I figured if you get a bunch of young men, 13 to 35, in one room, and they able to see, because my sons, they be with me every day. They work with me every day.
Fisher and Fisher.
So yes, they is there. So they see, you know, people or their peers that's coming into the class. And once you come into the class, you'll get to learn more things about construction. So you're able to learn how to get your LLC, learn how to become a 1099 contractor, learn how to read blueprints, learn all your tools and material and everything. So when you get to the job site, you'll know what you're doing. You know what to go get. Because it's quicker to get hired into a construction company if you know the basics of construction. Because it's like, if I say, hey, I need a 2x10 cut at a 3rd degree angle. And then now they just like,
fortunately, I know what that means.
Yeah, right. You know, right? So then if you like, okay, I got it. They're like, oh, okay. All right.
They don't have to go get it for you. They don't have to set you up on the saw. Yes.
So you able to go to this class for free. Once you leave that class, you're able to go get field training. Then you're able to get hired into the company, or you're able to become a 1099. I would suggest people just go into the company first so you can learn everything before you just run off. So you got a lot of people that just want to run off and make the big money, but it's about the money. That's one thing I stress to my son. It's about the money, because when he was young, you know, he started like he was 7, 8 years old. But when he got 13, 14, you know, 16, he's like, okay, I don't know if I want to do it or not, Dad. I said, okay. But then now there's stuff coming up. I said, you sure you don't want to do it? So what I did, I went to the bank, took 40 grand cash out. And said, could you count that and make sure it's all there? He said, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I think it's 40 grand there. I said, that's all construction money. Legal. You ain't got to worry about no police. You don't have to worry about nothing. It's all, it can be made. This is the thing. You got to show it to them that it can be made. It can be made. So when you come to the class and you see myself, I grew up heart of Chicago, 23rd State Street. So you know where it's at already.
Yes. Him and I had an interesting story. I'll tell a little bit of it. As I told you guys, I'm from the streets of Chicago. My brother used to be guys, remember, this is past life. We're not talking about present today. My brother used to run the gang in the project on 23rd and State Street, the one that he's speaking of. It no longer exists. So if you've been around here only like for the last 15, 20 years, that building no longer is there. They tore all those buildings down. My brother was a very hardcore person in those neighborhoods, and there was a story that was going around about somebody being tossed out of a building. And my brother happened to be that person who tossed them. And me and Tyrese were talking about the building, and we were talking about that story. And I had to fess up that I knew who the person was because I was in the car, and my brother told me to close my eyes. And I was a little kid. I was like 6. I think I was 6 or 7 at this time. And he said, close your eyes. And my other brother was in the car with me. And the reason I tell this story is to tell you this. If that's the life that you've heard of, and you think that's the only thing that's out there, you don't know that there's something else. So what Tyrese is offering is the information about there is something else. Legal 40 grand. He handed his son a legal $40,000 in cash, where he worked from a $10 an hour to a $20 an hour, to where the gentleman knew he had a person who could be trusted to be a foreman of a company, to at this point where he is running his own company. And at this point, giving back. Do you guys connect the dots? That means that no matter where you are, you have an opportunity to take a path of a mindset of growing in a way of success and give back. Because I also heard that he's employing these people if they want to come aboard his company. So when he said the company, he means Fisher and Fisher Construction.
Keep right out. Come in.
Currently, my son is in his program. So my son has already went through 40 hours. He says he's doing great. I called him like 2 times already and asked him how my son's doing, because at the end of the day, I'm looking for growth. I'm looking for all of the hard work that I put in, the time that I put in with my son, that he has the opportunity, and he's utilizing the opportunity successfully. And as I said, I was checking up. I want to be honest. Yes, I'm checking up. My kids are grown. He'll tell you, my son, a whole grown man. He's 29. So he's a whole grown man. But at the end of the day, being a parent doesn't stop at 18. I hear it does, but I don't know about that. It has not stopped at 18. My grandmother, who was the prominent person in my life, I called her many times to ask her questions. So it doesn't stop there. So about the Build and Unite. So give us a little information about, one, you talked about what they're going to learn, the construction piece. They're going to learn about being a 1099 worker, and a 1099 is just different than the W-2. If you can explain a little bit about the 1099 and also about the licensing part, and when do these classes begin, and where can they get in contact with you? Let's drop all of that down, because we want to make sure we get all of that information in there for them.
Most definitely. The 1099 contracting is just a form to where you'll be able to file your taxes. So, because the thing is, when we take you through this class, it's just not to come and work for the company. It's to get you set up to run your own show. And you just got to want it. You got to want it. We're going to show you how to get your LLC. We're going to show you how to get your licenses. We're going to show you how to get your insurance. We're going to show you how to get all that stuff together. But guess what? You got to put in the work first. So a lot of people like to jump the step.
Oh, I know.
They like to jump the step, so they like to go get the licenses and the insurance and everything before they learn the work.
Yeah.
So
and then but what I'm hearing is that you're trying to set them up with a success plan as opposed to a plan.
Yes, it's a success plan. It's the same thing that I did. When I stopped working for that, when they hired me for that foreman job, the guy said I can hire who I want to hire. So you know what I did?
Hired a whole lot of black people.
I went and hired a whole lot of black people. When they hired my dad, I hired a couple guys I knew from Labor Ready that have been walking up there trying to get a daily pay just to get some need to take care of their family. When they hired them guys.
One more time. I just want to take that second. As you move up, you pull people up. And that's what I heard right there. So I just wanted to say that because that's the part that always encouraged, because as we heard me say that as I built my business, I only, for my whole business, you guys will see a picture later on where every contractor that was there was black. Every single contractor. All the subcontractors, there was only one person that was not family, was said that way, and that was the person who did the roof. Because I gotta say this, all of them were chicken. They was all chicken. They didn't, well, none of them get on the roof.
He ain't getting that.
Oh no. My contractor, the general contractor, he got up on the second, I think the third ring, and he was like, "This thing shaky." I was like, "It's a ladder, man. It's not that shaky." He came right on back down. He's like, "Oh no." But from our conversation that we're talking about now, he is a business owner himself, and as I was saying, that he helped the general contractor who I actually hired for the project, because there were specialties that he had that my general contractor was looking for, and that's what I saw, those specialties at work. So when he was talking about the building United, I was like, okay, this is going to be good because I've seen his work.
Yes, it just like, remember when the guys that contractor had cleaning it up?
Yeah,
I had picked up the road. I said, always pouring down, it's raining. I don't know how they gonna get back. Rachel, you look at, said, Rachel, you know I'm gonna drop them off.
Yeah,
you know,
because it was like 6 of them. Yeah. There were 6 guys. We were bringing in drywall, 350 sheets of drywall, and these guys, it started pouring down, raining, and I want to say this. Gotta say it. When you don't care about other individuals, people do not like to work with you. So I'm not going to speak the name of my contractor, but I'll say this, that people don't like to work with him. Of my old contractor, because now we are done. Thank you, Jesus. But I had to take that moment, guys. It's been 2 years. So they don't want, when you don't treat people right, people don't want to work with you. Now, my son was walking to where he's working with Tyrese. Tyrese has now got somebody picking my son up. I wanted him to walk. I wanted him to see the struggle. However, he picking him up and dropping him off.
Because I don't want him to have no excuses. That's what they did me at first. Let me see if I was gonna get there. I got there. Okay. Now I know you'll come on your own if you needed to. Now don't worry about it. We'll come get you.
See, I see now. I just learned why. I learned my why.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We pass it down, because when you dealing with young men, all they be wanting is somebody that they care. They try to like tough and all that stuff because they really not. Because me and my son, we had talks from the time when he turned 5, when he turned 9, when they turned 13, when he turned 18. Even when he just gonna get ready to turn 21. So he's getting his fifth lesson. Because I explained to him, when you 13 to 16, those years are critical. I want to say this. Black men, listen up. And this is not a shot at black men. This is what he's instilling in his sons. We as a society leave women to take care of this. Now, I'm not saying that women are not equipped, but to hear from another man that this is how you carry yourself as a man is different. It's different. Sorry, please continue. I wanted to just state that. So fathers who are out there listening, who are not in your kid's life, these are the lessons that only you can teach. What you had going on with that girl does not matter. It does not matter. Even though he's been with his wife for all this time, they've been together the whole time. But if you step out of her life, doesn't mean you step out of their lives. Because the time goes by very fast.
Who you telling?
So it's just a split moment that can alter your whole life. See, but the thing is, some of us don't get second chances to be successful. Once you blow that first one, it's a hard road back to the second. But you got to be willing to take that road if you blew the first one.
That's right.
You see, because I've always been an athlete. I was an All-American football, basketball, baseball.
Did y'all hear that? All American
in the streets. Blew that chance. So that was a chance of a lifetime. Some people never come back from that. You know, and you know where you're supposed to be. See, it's a difference when you know where you're supposed to be. It's a totally different thing. And then you look in the mirror at your life, like, I know I'm right there. See, but it's just now you got to pivot, switch it up, and see what else, because talent don't go anywhere. All black people were born with it. It's in our melanin.
Y'all heard that? It's in our melanin. So that's in our melanin. So at the end of the day, we got some form of talent in some way. Everybody has something that's innate to you.
Yes, you got it. It's in you. So it's like, do you want to give up or you want to fight? So I tell everybody, when I started this, I think I was on a job. Now I'm at bats with the company because they want to start hiring white boys, getting $2 less than me. I'm the guy doing all the work now. So I told him, I said, well, you can take the $2 back and I'll carry the wood and give it to them. You know, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, it don't make me no difference. Then my wife said, you know what? To the wife, she said, you know what? You know everything. So why is we even going at bats about anything? You might as well just start up the company. And matter of fact, I'm going to start writing it up. We'll take it from here. That was 15 years ago.
Did you guys hear about the backbone and the conversation of now because it was not just him, even though he was going to do the work, she felt as if they were partners in life. And when you have a partner in life, then I mean, I shout out to my wife all the time, and he's heard me say it.
About the partners, they don't want to see nobody jiving with they mate.
That's it. Because believe me, we have had many a day where she was like, fire that dude now.
I mean,
so
it's just they have your best interest.
And you have to be able to take that.
Yeah,
you gotta be able to take that. You gotta be able to take it.
You gotta be able to take that because if you run around this life thinking you know everything, you lost from the beginning.
Yes.
You know, because like right now to this day, I'm still learning stuff. Because if I know everything, guess what? I should be already somewhere sitting up with $1 zillion in my bank account, with my feet all the way up, relaxed, and talking to whoever I feel like talking.
He is not gonna do that. I don't care how many dollars he's got. I gotta say that, guys. I know this guy. I mean watching this. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, because I actually love the work. Because my wife said it all the time too. I said, baby, because I actually like, because when we do the gut rehabs, I don't tear him out no more. I stay away from all that type of stuff. So
okay.
I do the installs now because she like, you gonna do, you beat your body down. You gonna be 68. See, but I told her, if you work smart and hard now, once you get to that one point where you can just say, okay, I'm done. Everything is good. The kid is good. I'm content. Because being content is a big thing. You know? Some people don't be content. Even if you get where you said you was gonna get to, guess what? A person that's not content gonna say,
I can get more.
We're gonna do just 2 more flips. You know, it's like you gotta understand. You know, when is your out? When is you playing? Don't be gone. Because my famous thing that I tell the guys, you don't want to be 50 and effed up. That's a big issue.
It is.
Don't know women want you. What they want with you? You 50.
They can't be nobody's sugar daddy. You trying to say?
You don't got nothing.
That's true.
You sleeping on your cousin's couch and he's sick of you.
Oh.
So you gotta look ahead. All the people that you didn't want around and then you did something to and all that. When you get up in age, who is gonna be looking out for you? That's when the heart of a good person comes in. Because if you don't have that person looking out for you, so you got to be able to set yourself up to be just in case you're alone at 50.
So that sounds like you have a goal, and you your main goal, and then you go backwards from where you want to be.
You go back.
So I just want to say that it doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. You have to, if you don't foresee where you're gonna be, you don't know where you're going.
You don't know where you're going, because I knew what I wanted to do from the time when that guy first hired me, and then I found out he was making 40 grand a building, and we had 32 buildings to frame up, ground up. I knew what I wanted to do then. Exactly what he's doing. Now that's a good buck.
Yeah.
You know, and it's legal. So you do the math. 32 times 40 grand. That's one project.
Okay. So I think I'm at 12.8 mil. That's what I think I was at. But hey, my numbers might be off. I gotta catch some zeros. Hey, I count money up pretty quickly, but I think I think that's where we at. But
and that's one project.
Yeah.
So because I seen it done. So when you see it done, that's the big thing about the Building Unite. When you see something done by somebody that was in the same position as you, it makes it a lot better that you able to accomplish those things, because you can see it was done. I know it was done.
Now, remember, he wasn't here when I was talking about Madam C.J. Walker, but it goes back to when you know something is possible. It goes to my shirt. I'm gonna talk. So I'm possible is about knowing that the impossible does not exist. I'm possible is saying that if there's a will and there is a way, I'm going to make the way. I'm not going to stop until I get to what my goals are. A year and a half ago, guys, I was making multiple six figures as a VP in operations. I had a good paying job. However, it wasn't going to take me to where my ultimate goal was, because my ultimate goal was not to make money. My ultimate goal was to make an impact and help people find success, which is different. I'm living in my purpose more so than living for money. And I utilized that money that I was making to buy property so it could supplement my income. I want to talk to you guys about that's what it was about. Supplementing the income that I was making so I could be able to live in my purpose and help people find success and not feel drained. I want to be able to help people from the overflow of me. I've been where I'm speaking to. I've been in the situations where, as in the neighborhood was the hood and there were gunshots. But what I learned about the neighborhood, about the hood, is that people in the neighborhood still want good things to happen in that neighborhood. Find those people and gravitate with them. And I promise you guys, this might sound cliche. You will weed out the ones that don't want success in their neighborhood because you'll outnumber them. And you'll have those conversations with the ones who didn't have those conversations. So when he was having a conversation with his son about maybe a pet.
Rachel, those are really major.
Yes.
Because when you get him to understand from 13 to 16 is critical. Get your education. Get everything situated. If you make it from 13 to 16, your chances of being a successful teenager is very high. If you go from 16 to 19, your chances of success of being a great adult and a successful adult is high. Stay away from the drugs, stay away from the weed, stay away from people that don't mean you no good. Because if you do
that was a bar. Do me a favor. Can we repeat that? Because I want to make sure that y'all heard that bar drop.
Yes. Stay away from weed, stay away from drugs, and stay away from the people that don't do you no good. Because the thing is, you only got that short window. It's a short window. If you do anything that's kind of tilt that boat in that short window, the rest of your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, however long you rest of the year, it'll be a long, hard struggle. But you want to make it easy for yourself. So you don't want
but it still work. I want y'all to still work.
Yeah.
Easier work, but work. I don't want y'all to think it's easy. Nothing easy.
Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy. When I started the company, I didn't have money to start it.
See, I've heard this story. Tell a little bit. So we got like 7-8 minutes. So I want him to tell the story about how he started this business, and what he's offering young individuals is lessons in how he made it through from all of this situation in the same streets that are out there now. The streets didn't start being bad just because in the last 10 years there was things going on in the streets before. How we survive those that is making those changes in our lives, those pivotal changes that changed our trajectory of where we are. As I told you, my brother was throwing people out the window. You know what I'm saying? We saw 16th floor in Stateway Gardens, because that's what it used to be called. So at the end of the day, that's what I saw. That's what I thought life was. But when I picked up those books and saw life could be different, that means that was a new path that I started wanting to be on. I wanted to be on a path where I wasn't worried about what was going to happen to me next day, next moment.
Because you gotta get them out the comfort zone, right? If they get comfortable, it's another opportunity on the other side of the grass. Just step on it. Just step on it. Don't think that this is just what it is. It's not that. It's more everywhere you go. Because guess what? It's billions of people in the world. There's billions of people in the world. You got a lot of people to meet. It's a lot of things to do. It's life to live. It's not just here.
This is a small dot. Tell me about this bit of small dot, man. It's a small dot.
Like I just said, when I saw at that company, it's a lady named Allison Martin. You might know. She's a CCS bus driver here in Chicago. Me and my son, I had built a candy cart. So we used to put all the candy on the cart. It had wheels on it. We take it downtown to sports events, all the Bears games, Bulls games, everything. That's how I bought the tools for the company. So I stand it up. And me and my son, same son who I'm showing construction. We go out there, we make $3-4 a day, $5 a day, until I got enough to get tools. Once we got the tools, we was off and running. It was off and running. Now we off and running. Let's go. Yeah.
Tell them about the van. Tell them about the van. You got a couple of minutes. Tell them about how you got this van. The van where you were talking. Remember the story where you were telling me about how you got your first van.
Oh, yeah. My first van. Van is just crazy. when you're trying to do something, great things come to you. It just will come to you if you get it. Because I was able to take all the little money that I had saved up, bought a little outfit, all my little paperwork, all my little briefcase stuff. I'm trying to live professionally, So I didn't even have it too. So when I went in there, the lady said, I presented the proposal to the lady, put everything down. Once she synced everything up, she pulled a laptop out. Make sure I wasn't jabbing. Once she pulled her laptop out, she said everything was good. She said, Terrence, I'll give you a deposit now. I went and bought my first van, went and bought everything I need to do the job. And the rest is history. The rest is history. You just got to be able to want to do it. So get with Build the Unite. Give me a call.
So the number to call him, we want to make sure that we talk about this on the air. So I want to make sure that we. So where we at? Hold on 1 second. I want to make sure we get that number out there. So the number to call him is 312-343-7392. That's the number if you are between 15 and 35 and are looking for someone this is a free program where he is going to teach you how to actually utilize the tools. So you're going to have classroom training and then you're going to have on-the-job training. This is all free. And at the end of that, he's also offering to show you how to create and get your license, how to actually get your 1099 situated so you can write contracts and learn how to do business the correct way. Treat people with respect, and respect comes back your way. So if you guys are looking for a program for young men between 15 and 35, I said young men, my apologies. I didn't mean to say that. So if you are looking for construction, because I did construction, guys, for years. I got out of construction. My uncles were a developer. So if you have the drive and determination and not looking to waste someone's time, you can reach Tyrese Fisher of Fisher and Fisher Constructions at 312-343-7392. 343-7392. There will be a flyer on my website at Wake Up CEO radio station. You can go ahead and jump on Rachel L. Gary. You'll see the flyer will be there posted. So it's there to help help you find another avenue towards your success. So we're going to jump right in to the leadership 3-point play since we're here together. So let's talk about the leadership 3-point play, powered by Say I'm Possible Academy, where self-leadership gets GPS. So let's go. Play 1. Invest in your growth. Personal development isn't a luxury, it's a responsibility. When you grow, your circle levels up too. Play 2. Lead by example in the home. Kids don't follow rules, they follow your rhythm. Create a culture of reading, discussion, ownership, and integrity. Play 3. Be the change you want to see in the world. Start small, clean a corner, teach a neighbor, support a Black-owned business. One action at a time builds the culture we want to live in. So I want you guys to stay tuned for up next. We got Mr. At the Top and the Financial Power Hour. And make sure you guys listen back to that 3-point play, because those are small steps that will allow you to find success. My final thought of the day, since we are at the end of the show, we don't need to be saved. We need structure, strategy, and self-leadership. Your hood becomes a neighborhood when you decide it's worth rebuilding. Don't wait for permission. Take ownership, take action, and take pride. And at the end of the day, CEOs, y'all know what I want. I want you guys to be up, out, and moving to the greatness that we all know lies within who? You, CEOs. We're going to let Better and Better by Chris and Teves play out for the day. And I want to see you guys CEOs next week on Wake Up CEO on My Radio Chicago. Support District Radio, because you know what it is, guys. It is more than radio.
I keep getting better every day in every way. I keep getting better every day in every way. I keep getting better and better. Oh, tell 'em I keep getting better and better. I keep getting better. I'm improving every day. A little bit goes a long way, so a steady wins the race. So I'm a run at my own pace. Evolving isn't always a rush. Consistency, mindset, I adjust.
I appreciate who I am. I value my person. I appreciate who I am. I value my person. My future's bright, bright. Life, bright. My future's bright, bright. Life. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Every day, in every way, I keep getting better. Every day, in every way, I keep getting better and better. I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better and better. Oh, so I keep getting better and better. Cause that's what I want to see. I'm better, I'm feeling me. Yeah. I'm better, I'm feeling me. Yeah. Better than I used to be. I'm growing up. Yeah. Cause that's what I want to see. Yeah. I'm better, I'm feeling me. Yeah. I'm better, I'm feeling me. Yeah. I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better and better and better. Oh, tell 'em I keep getting better and better and better. And tell 'em I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better and better and better. Oh, tell 'em I keep getting better and better. And tell 'em I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better every day. In every way, I keep getting better.
Early morning, time to rise, no sleep. Radio's humming with the funky beat. Sun is shining, Rachel brings the heat. Wake up, CEO, we're on repeat. Chicago, Sun Up City on the go. Rachel L. Gary on the radio. Tune in quick, hear the power flow. Wake up, CEO, it's your daily show. Wake up, start the day with CEO. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. From the Windy City, bringing major vibes. Rachel on the mic, keeping lives revived. Radio Chicago, where dreams arise. Wake up, CEO, to the skies. No more snooze button, no more delay. Rachel's voice making waves today. Feel the energy Chicago way. Wake up, CEO, rise and sway. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill. Wake up, start the day with zeal. Hey, with Rachel's got the vibe, that's the real deal. CEO, it's time to feel the thrill. Morning grind, press play and chill.
This is Nina Powell of Nina Waters Ministries. And when you're looking for inspiration, check out Wake Up CEO with Rachel L. Gary. Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
You know what time it is? Every Wednesday, 3 to 5, my Radio Chicago, Rachel L. Gary in the building. Wake up, CEO, let's go! Wake up, go some set that tone. Wake up, every step you take, you claim that throne. Wake up, no more doubt, no time to stall. Wake up, boss up now, go get it on. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. I ain't waiting, now I go and take it. Built this from the ground, no way they break it. Consistency, my secret, watch me make it. Got that boss talk, now I ain't faking no. Lost, set the goal, now I'm grabbing the goal. And put in the work, now I'm taking control. The vision so clear, yeah, I already know. Every step I take, I'm ready to blow. Wake up, set that tone. Every step you take, you claim that throne. No more doubt, no time to stall. You boss up now, go get it all. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. Let's go, stay locked in, make it happen. Make it happen. No handouts, yeah, I made my way. Built my brand, now I paved my lane. I turn my losses into lessons. Now my grind got no recession. Yeah, they talk about chance, but I make my own. Yeah, I ain't waiting for fate, got a future to own. Yeah, every setback, just part of the game, gay game. But now I'm up and they know my name. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in, make it happen. Wake up, stay locked in. Wake up. Success so sexy, put the work in flexi. Late nights, no rest, but now my vision's hefty. They doubted, they laughed, now they watch from the back. Cause I turned every dream into bricks that stack. Wake up, stay locked Thursday, 3 to 5, by Radio Chicago. Rachel L. Gary taking you to the top. Boss up.